Welcome, it's Denome, and today is Monday 23rd of September 2024, and we have a mixed bag of good and bad news, good and bad signals as well. So by the end of the video, we will have seen fundamental data, technical data, as well as the recent news to basically determine and give you an idea where the price is very likely to go next. And by the end of the video, I will also share one altcoin which I feel like is in a perfect position for you to consider to buying it because it has more price potential to the upside than Bitcoin by far. So make sure to actually watch until the end. And also make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content and you want to tell the algorithm that other people should see this video as well. Before I will give you my price analysis, let's just take a look at the recent news and the fundamental data. So the number one thing here is that we have MicroStrategy buying more Bitcoin. So they raised $1 billion this week or last week, and they used $500 million to buy back debt and $500 million to buy Bitcoin. This is obviously long-term bullish. Then, however, we saw very old wallets. For example, this wallet here was holding Bitcoin for 15 years and now decided to sell $16 million of their Bitcoin, 250 Bitcoin to be exact. So very big congratulations for this wallet here. Awesome gains. And the bad thing here is obviously that this is a signal that some old money is willing to depart their Bitcoin at this price point. So let's actually take a look at if this is a common occurrence or a single event. And for that, let's head over to sentiment.net. And this is the tool that I use to basically look under the hood of Bitcoin. And here we have the perfect chart that will give us a better signal. Because if you just read these news, you might flip bearish. But let's take a look at the actual data using sentiment. And if you want to use sentiment, you can use the link in the description to sign up for free. So if we take a look at wallets that have held Bitcoin for more than 3 years, you can basically see that there's really no selling here at all. This is a good signal because usually when you see price increase, you start to see old money basically selling. And when old money is selling, that usually signals that the price is about to fall to the downside. Now we are not seeing old money selling at this pump here. So this is very, very good. However, we are seeing a little bit younger money. Let's call this midterm money. Money that has held Bitcoin for more than 1 year, but less than 3 years. They are selling here at the moment. So this is obviously not as bad as very old money selling, but it is still quite bad. But however, this price move here has not taken the price of Bitcoin to the downside, at least yet. But this is obviously a bearish signal, but not the most bearish signal. If you were to see like selling like the levels that we saw here, then you would be much more bearish, or sell pressure like we saw here, we would be much more bearish. But this is much, much less than we have previously seen. So even though we're getting like a bearish selling, it's not a lot, at least yet. So a lot of old money is still waiting for much, much higher prices. So optimally, this is a bearish signal, but it's still good in my opinion. So that's one thing there. Next thing, we are seeing the money that was sold, that is being shown here at realized profit and loss. So when you take a look at this number here, and you look at here, this shows that the selling was $650 million. And then we saw another blip here. This was roughly $360 million. So in total, that's about $1.1 billion worth of realized gains here on the chart. So congratulations for those who sold, but this is a little bit bad again for potential price increase. Usually when you see realized profits, that is usually a signal that price is about to go to the downside here. But this is not always the case. For example, here, somebody was basically bottom selling here at this price point, roughly $900 million worth of capital. So it doesn't always mean that the price will immediately go down. So the price will still has basically chance to go to the upside until we see more selling from old wallets, which we have not seen yet. So that is bad, but it's not horrible. Here we have miners also accumulating Bitcoin. lately at this pump, they are not selling yet, so they are also expecting higher prices. Otherwise, they would be selling at these price points if they were not expecting higher gains on their Bitcoin. So this is, again, a good thing. When we take a look at Bitcoin supply distribution, we are seeing very large whales, let's call them mega whales, whales that have more, or wallets that have more than 10,000 Bitcoin and less than 100,000 Bitcoin. They are currently increasing in their Bitcoin holdings. So this is good signal that basically smart money is accumulating. However, the second largest whales, 1,000 to 10,000 Bitcoin holders, they are actually selling at these price points. So that is a mixed signal in my opinion. It's hard to say if price will go up or down. Really not a clear signal from there. Optimally, what you want to see from here is basically retail investors selling and whales accumulating. But that is not exactly what we are currently seeing. We are seeing basically this brown chart here shows us the amount of Bitcoin holders in total, which is 54.35 million wallets that have some amounts of Bitcoin. So they are actually accumulating Bitcoin here, retail investors. So all in all, okay data. Also, another bullish signal here is when we take a look at stable coins. You are seeing a new high here, which is $161 billion worth of stable coins. So when people want stable coins, that means they want to transact through the blockchain, and that brings value to blockchain as well. So all in all, when this is growing, fundamentally it is very good for crypto. Then, however, we have two bearish signals. So the first is funding rates. When we take a look at funding rates, you can see this is spiking to the upside. So when funding rates spike to the upside, it means that it's more expensive to hold long positions, leverage long positions on Bitcoin. And when that is the case, it basically incentivizes people to close their long positions and open up short positions as well, because you are getting funding as a bonus on the potential price gains that you make when you are shorting Bitcoin. So when you see this go to the upside, it is not usually a good thing for Bitcoin price. Also, another bearish signal that we are getting is we are seeing the supply on exchanges growing for the last week or so. So when this is growing, it means people are depositing their Bitcoin onto exchanges, and usually the reason they deposit Bitcoin onto exchanges is that they want to sell their Bitcoin. When, however, this is going down, this red line here, that usually means people want to hold Bitcoin long term. So we are currently seeing people depositing Bitcoin, not in mass, but still this is growing, so I would have to consider this to be bearish. But it is not a lot of deposits, so it's just a little bit. But it is still deposits, so I have to basically show it to you. So those are the fundamentals here. Next, let's take a look at short-term and basically liquidation data. For that, let's take a look at Bitcoin liquidation heat map. And this shows us the places where people will be liquidated on their shorts and on their long positions as well. And these work kind of as a magnet. So the brighter the color, the more money will be liquidated. So this here gives us a signal that basically the shorts will start to get liquidated if the price of Bitcoin goes to $70,140. If the price goes here, these shorts will be liquidated, and when shorts get liquidated, they have to go to the market and make a market buy order to basically close their positions. So these can cascade and cause a major wick to the upside if these do get liquidated. So this gives me the signal that if price goes to $70,140, that is the perfect time to actually buy back Bitcoin and get into Bitcoin at a very basically cheap price. It's very unlikely that Bitcoin will reverse at this price point when these short positions are closing, and the only way for them to close them is for them to market buy the Bitcoin. So this is basically the danger zone for shorts, and a very good time for bulls, obviously. When we look at a little bit shorter time frame, not the 1 year date, we go to 1 month data. We are seeing concentration of shorts above the current price point, roughly at $65,000 here. You see this yellow color. And previously, you can see whenever you see yellow color here, that is usually being liquidated in a very short period of time. And right now we're seeing yellow color here as well. So this is kind of giving me the signal that there is still potential that we go to at least $65,000 in the short term. This is very good for potential price increase. However, when we go to 3-month time frame here, we are seeing a lot of long positions being accumulated here, basically at $46,000 and $43,000 as well. I don't know if these will be ever liquidated or not, but I do have to basically point this out that a lot of basically longs are currently being accumulated, and that is causing the funding rates to increase as well. So this is basically a little bit worrying, let's say that. Not that it is in immediate danger, but it is something worth noting at least, that we are seeing these liquidatable longs being accumulated at the same time as well. When we take a look at order book data, I got a little bit bearish here when I saw a lot of red just recently here at $63,600. But as you can see just now, the order book liquidity has actually flipped, and a lot of people are flipping bullish at these price points. Also kind of giving me the idea that maybe we do actually go a little bit higher before we have a downturn as well. So taking all of this data into consideration, when we take a look at the price here, we are seeing that this is the bottom of the trend line here, and this is the top of the current trend line. This is basically the channel where the price is currently hovering. So now we are also seeing an acceleration here on the price. So if we see something absolutely crazy, we could see a new all-time high, or basically the breakout of this high here, and the breakout of this trend line in the next 4 days. That is absolutely insane, and personally I'm not expecting this to happen, but I will give it a probability of 35%. So that's my probability for it. It may happen already. What I'm most likely expecting is basically a move to the upside to that 66,000 level price point, and then we basically break to the downside here. And the first price point to basically buy Bitcoin is this orange line here, and from here you can basically expect an attempt for the high here. I don't know if the Bitcoin will be broken here yet or not, but that is my, let's say, more likely scenario than just straight to the upside here from these price points here. This is, in my opinion, a little bit more realistic, just to kind of shake out the final people here, and then we go to those new highs. That would make more sense. However, even in that scenario, to buy Bitcoin at these price points would still make a lot of sense. So in that case, that would buying Bitcoin here or being bullish on Bitcoin now still makes sense. But when I take a look at the RSI, that gives me a little bit like a worrying signals. So when I take a look at RSI, just now you can see the RSI is currently lower than it was here at this peak here, but the price is higher. So that means we have a bearish divergence on the price, giving us a signal that the momentum is about to basically flip to the downside. So that is the 4-hour time frame. Even if I go to 1-hour time frame, basically the same thing has been true. So what we saw here is we saw a lower high on the RSI, and here this is still lower than this high here. So also kind of giving the signal that maybe we actually do go to the downside as well. So it's not this is like not as clear price potential increase than the on-chain data or the fundamental data that we were looking at. Also, when we go to the 1-day data, we have a hidden bearish divergence at least as of now. So this RSI here is higher than this here, but the price is currently lower. So currently what we're looking at is a potential hidden bearish divergence. So this could basically take the price of Bitcoin a little bit lower, all the way maybe back even to this blue line here. Personally, I cannot really see that price would go to $46,000 anymore unless the real economy really starts crashing down. If that were to happen, then obviously prices can go to the downside much more. So we do have to keep that in mind as well. But at least in the short term, it does look like the momentum is kind of still supporting us. So on the daily chart, you can basically draw this line here. So what we basically want to see is we want to take out this high here. And if that were to happen, then basically the momentum is supporting us on the potential price increase to basically push for new highs. But we don't have that signal yet. So I'm keeping an eye out for that. So it's honestly, this is not the best setup I've ever seen in my life. So I'm basically giving you the idea that maybe Bitcoin goes here, maybe Bitcoin goes here, maybe like here. Then I don't know if it breaks to the all-time high. Maybe price goes like this and we go and retouch this base here. And from here, I might completely flip to the bull zone. I don't know. It's quite hard to say. But I do know one thing. There's one altcoin right now which is in a very good position. And that is Dogecoin. So let me show you before you laugh your ass out. So looking at Dogecoin right now, let me go to the weekly data here. You are seeing a behavior here on Dogecoin, which is that we have these trend lines here. And once those trend lines are broken, that is usually a signal for massive move for Doge price. Here we saw another one, and the price of Doge actually went up by roughly 250%, 260%. Right now, when we go to the 4-hour data, you can see that the price of Doge is kind of trying to break to the upside from this channel or trend line here. Also, we have this bottom trend line here, and this is going basically until for the next 2 weeks or so. So this is looking very good. Also, when we take a look at Doge versus the price of Bitcoin, so we're looking at the Doge BTC trading pair, this has already broken to the upside, and we already had a confirmation or basically a retouch of this breakout point. And when I take a look at this chart on the longer time frame, you can see that the price of Doge is basically at these lows here at the same time that we already have this breakout from this pattern. So you could even see Dogecoin outperform Bitcoin by roughly 100% in a very short period of time. If this were to happen, in my opinion, Doge looks like a better option to invest into than Bitcoin. And the way to invest into Doge is this. Do not buy Doge yet. If you buy Doge right now, this could still go to the downside, the price of Doge. And currently you can see that we have this downward channel on the price of Doge. So if Doge actually breaks to the downside here, you could be looking at a potential Doge price of $0.065. So that would be a loss of roughly 37%. So to avoid that, you rather want to buy Doge at the breakout level. So the breakout level, in my opinion, is $0.111. So if the price of Doge basically breaks this high here, then you buy Doge. So if you have an account on an exchange, I will show you how to do it if you want to make the same trade that I have done. I've allocated a lot of my capital for this current trade. So I'm holding USDC at the moment, but let me show you on Bybit how you can do it. So Here you simply go to the trade section and you go to spot trading. You probably don't want to use leverage for this particular trade. And then you select Doge and USDC trading pair and you make sure that you're looking at the spot data here. And when you look at the spot data, you want to basically click this triangle button here and you go to conditional option. And when you're on a conditional trigger order, you want to select that the trigger price is 0.111 USDC, and then you select if you want to buy $1 million worth of Doge or however much Doge you want to buy at that moment in time. Then you simply select to buy Doge at this trigger price point. And when you do that, you will not buy Doge until you basically have verified that the breakout will happen. Now the price, it can be a fake out, the price can still retrace to the downside, but I just showed you how you can basically buy Doge at a little bit lower risk price point than basically buying it here at the end of this trend line here. So that is what I'm currently doing. That is how I'm trading Doge at the moment. I think it makes a lot of sense if we have a very nice move on Doge. Now, if you want to set up a trading account on Bybit, you can do it on other exchanges as well. I recommend you to use my affiliate link because you will get 10% fee discount for the first 30 days with my link, and also you are eligible for these welcome rewards. So for example, if you deposit $3,000, you will get $100 as rewards, and there are competitions and other things here as well that is very incentivizing for you to use Bybit. Bybit is what I use for trading. It has the best trailing stop loss of any exchange. It's better than Binance in my opinion. The trailing stop loss is very good on Bybit. Also, the best thing on Bybit is that you can set up a demo trading account for completely free, and you can learn how to use these conditional orders, how to use stop losses, and how to basically trade on exchanges, and this is completely free as well. So if you want to open a Bybit account, I recommend you to use my link for that. So that's my promotion for Bybit for this video, and also my complete analysis on Bitcoin. A little bit iffy on the potential breakout. A lot of the fundamentals still point to the upside, but there are still bearish signals also that you have to consider. But in my opinion, Doge looks like a very good opportunity here if you want to take that trade. That's it for this video. If you like this video, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I will see you on the next video. Thanks and bye-bye.